This is the Galaxy A70, Samsung's most premium A-series phone available in India right now. We've spent over a week with it and now it's time to see how it fared. Now, the A70 is aimed at the offline segment, yes, but is it worth its asking price? Let's find out in today's video. Hey guys, Ash here from C4 eTech and let's get started. Okay, before we begin, you know the asking price is 29K, right? But if you were Samsung and were asked to price the A70 fairly, what would you price it at? Do you think 29K is fair? Do you think it should have been priced a little lower? If yes, what do you think is a fair price for the A70? Let me know in the comments below. And if you do end up liking this video, please don't forget to turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon. Now, one of the first things we noticed when we started using this phone was how good One UI was on it. Now, this is probably the best One UI has felt on a non-flagship Samsung phone. Everything was quick, the apps opened up fast, there were no stutters when switching to the multitasking menu, and even opening up two apps side by side didn't cause any issues. Overall, it was a very smooth experience. This is thanks in large to the Snapdragon 675 chip that we have underneath. It is paired with 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of internal storage. And if you feel that's not enough, we also have a dedicated microSD card slot for added expandability. Now, it's not just the hardware. We have also seen a lot of One UI recently, so I'm not gonna really get into software. It is still built on Android 9 Pie and Samsung has basically refined the user experience a lot here. What's worth mentioning is that Samsung has included one of my all-time favorite features here with the A70, Samsung Pay. It lets us make digital payments via UPI and also lets us replace physical debit or credit cards. So basically, at any place where you can swipe your card, you can use Samsung Pay instead. Using it is pretty simple and you can use that under the display fingerprint scan to authorize your purchases. This one felt a lot more responsive and accurate than the one we had on the A50. Other than that, we also have Samsung's always on display, so that's a nice touch. Of course, the other One UI staples like gestures and game launcher are also present and accounted for. Speaking of gaming, the Adreno 612 inside ensured that we had a good experience even with graphically demanding titles. Now, be it gaming or media consumption, a lot of the experience boils down to how good the display looks. Now, this is one area that Samsung usually nails, and they continue to do so here with the A70 because this is a 6.7-inch Infinity U panel. This is a full HD plus display. It's got rich, vibrant colors and even gets pretty bright under direct sunlight. Now, generally, I dislike it when Samsung markets any of their non-flagship displays as infinity panels, but this time around I have few issues with this. It's an excellent panel. In fact, we watched season 8 episode 3 of Game of Thrones on it, and the inky blacks in great contrast made it pretty enjoyable. It wasn't that dark on the A70. Oh, and that reminds me, we have Widevine L1 here, which means HD videos from say Netflix and Amazon Prime shouldn't be an issue. Now, the bottom firing speaker, its output is a bit tinny, but the sound output via the 3.5mm headphone jack was excellent, loud and clear. Even the in-call speaker sounded good during the week that we tested it out. Call quality, cell reception, they were excellent too. And on that note, we move on to battery life. We have a 4500 mAh battery in here, and hey, the A70 gets faster charging than even the S10 Plus. It actually gets a 25-watt fast charger, while the S10 lineup only gets 15 watts. Now, the battery itself, it lasts a pretty long time since the 675 is a 11nm chip, meaning it's pretty good with battery optimization, and that coupled with a high capacity battery and One UI/Android 9 meant that even on days with moderate to heavy usage, we ended up with over 35% left in the tank at the end of the day. So getting through a day on a single charge is not gonna be a problem for most people, even with heavy usage. And then we come to cameras. We've got 3 to the back, and let's start with the primary sensor. Now, this is a 32 megapixel sensor with a f1.7 lens. Now, most of the pictures are usually captured at 12 megapixels. The colors here are quite good, and so is the dynamic range. Just have a look at this tree trunk here. You can manually switch to 32 megapixels if you want to, and when you do that, you end up getting more texture and detail in there, but it does come at a cost, and that cost is dynamic range. This is because HDR doesn't work when you are in the 32 megapixel mode. That same rule applies to selfies too. Yep, we have a 32 megapixel selfie camera, but if you want nice vibrant skin tones and a not so washed out background, then you gotta settle for the lower resolution 12 megapixel selfies. Not that they are bad though. Zoom in and you can still see plenty of detail, and the skin tones look really good too. Now getting back to the rear cameras, the secondary camera is an 8 megapixel ultra wide, and it gets some good shots, a different fresh perspective, something unique, and it has a f2.2 lens here. The third camera, it is a depth sensor. It helps with live focus. This is Samsung's implementation of the portrait mode. We've seen it a lot, and you can, as you've seen in the past, set the amount of background blur that you want by moving this slider on screen. As far as edge detection goes, it is pretty good, and even when it comes to selfie portraits, Samsung seems to do a reasonably good job differentiating between the background and the foreground. Now moving on to low light, the A70 kind of struggles. The pictures here lack detail and often come out looking very dark. And this seems to be a common Samsung issue, as Samsung lacks a dedicated night mode. So hope that this is something Samsung can fix in the future. Now as long as there is some amount of light, the images are usable, so it's not all bad. Here are a few more samples for you to check out. As far as video goes, there is support for 4K video, but sadly, no stabilization of any kind. So though the footage quality seems good, the lack of stabilization and the depreciated Pro mode that Samsung continues to offer even at 30K leads to mixed feelings. Talking about mixed feelings, let's talk build. The A70 looks nice and all, but generally over the past few years, Samsung's been going for a more premium glass and metal build, at least in the 30K segment. But with the A70 and its plastic back, it feels like they've kind of regressed somewhat. Now plastic in the lower end is okay, I guess, given all the gradient craze these days, but at almost 30K, it leaves a sour taste in the mouth. That being said, the phone is definitely nice to look at. It's ergonomic, fits nicely in the hand, not too unwieldy. That display is pretty amazing as well, and Samsung has done a good job shaving off the bezels around it. So in that aspect, Samsung has done really well, but I really wish Samsung could have gone with some a bit more premium materials here for the build. Now in conclusion, the A70 is a decent performer for regular usage. It games well, has an excellent display and battery life, charges up real fast despite having a mammoth 4500 mAh battery, and it has a set of serviceable cameras. But it isn't gonna feel premium. It's not gonna feel as premium as any other 30,000 rupee phone. Now if that is a trade-off you're willing to make for that Samsung branding, then you could probably consider the A70. But if you're looking at any sort of value for money, if you're looking for a good bang for your buck, then the A70 is not what you should be looking at. It is definitely not good value for money. So that's just my 2 cents here. I would really like to know what you guys think about the A70. Do you like it? Do you want to get one, or do you have your eyes on any other phone in the 30K segment? Do let me know in the comments below. And with that, we get to the end of this video. Thumbs up, thumbs down based on whatever you felt about it. Subscribe, turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon if you haven't yet. And here are a couple more videos for you to check out. Also do check out our other channel, FTJ, if you haven't. Maybe you'd end up liking it. And I guess that's it. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4 Retech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.